everybody. Welcome to another week of the Trash Talking and Giving Back podcast with Myers Waste and Recycle. I am joined by my co-host, Joe Sinagra. He is the operations manager over at Myers Containers. I've been there a couple of times recently, and I tell you what, he makes that place go. You walk into his office, Joe, and you've just got like stuff, but you know what's what and what is where and how to keep the lights on and the doors open and everybody's trash collected.
Absolutely. Yeah, I get criticized a little bit because my organization sometimes isn't what it should be, but I know where everything is, so that's the important thing.
Hey, that's all that matters. Don't let people judge you for the way that you operate.
Listen, my job is to judge people, not the other way around.
On today's podcast, we have Brandon-secl, who's an estimator from O'Brien Brothers. We'll talk to him in a few minutes, but first, Joe and I usually like to kind of catch up on the week, chit chat. Sometimes Joe's got a nice little like moral or ethics question to throw at me.
Well, and I do, because this time of the season, it's, high school graduation, college graduation, wedding season, all that stuff, which is all fun. And of course, I'm a glass half empty guy naturally. So, you're getting these invitations for graduation parties and announcements, stuff like that. And I get it, and wedding invitation with the registry, you're registered at Bed Bath & Beyond. And okay, that's all fine and good. But the graduation, high school and college invitations with the QR code to Venmo just really rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, because that money's not getting spent on anything besides food and maybe some adult beverages. I agree that I was never a big fan with weddings when people did the honey fund thing either, because it's we'll just give you cash if you want cash. But I'm a gift giver who loves to give gifts, especially when I think it's something they're really going to like, or no, it's something that they really need. And so graduating from high school, you're off to college. There's a lot of things that you just kind of need. So maybe if they at least said the Venmo was because they really want, a flat screen TV for their dorm or a mini fridge, right? So for some of the bigger ticket items, but
it's to me, it's just tacky. I don't mind giving, of course, we got invited to a couple high school graduations. So of course you're going to give them cash because it's a friend of a friend. And so you give them cash, and I have no problem with that. I just think the Venmo is a little tacky. Also, Erin, I know we're from different places, but alcohol for a high school graduation, maybe that's how they roll in Southern Connecticut, but
I don't mean for the party. I mean once they get to college.
Oh, okay. Jeez, gross.
But there's not. I did live in Louisiana for a long time, so there's basically alcohol at everything you go to there. But you know which one I'm also not a fan of with the Venmo things is when people go to bachelorette parties, or I've seen people on Facebook it's my birthday, Venmo. No, just if I decide I would like to do that, I've done that before. A couple of my girlfriends, it's her husband's birthday, and I know that they're going out to dinner or to grab drinks, and so I'll send them $10, oh, beer's on me kind of deal. Someone actually did that for me recently. But I didn't say, oh, it's my birthday and we're going out, send me some money.
I when I'm bored, I paint on the back of my windshield and I drive down 89 and just say, hey, Venmo Joe for, I'm getting married this weekend. And it's a good way to make a few bucks.
Have you made some money? Well, hold on. Speaking of, did we sell the table and chairs?
We have not sold the table and chairs yet.
All right, everybody, it's still on Facebook Marketplace. I just want to know if someone from the podcast hears about the table and chairs. This can be a short for this week, Ben. Joe has the table and chairs on Facebook Marketplace. If you're listening to the podcast and you want to buy it, he will give it to you for half off. Well, just mention the podcast.
It sounds great.
Oh, I love it. Okay, now is a good time to bring Brandon in. Here's to hoping that when Brandon got married, he did not have a honey fund or a Venmo account, because we'll have already offended our guest before we have even welcomed him into the show. Brandon, be honest with us. I feel like you're probably around I'm gonna go closer to my age than Joe's age. So honey fund was maybe a thing when you were getting married.
We did not do a honey fund. No honey fund. And
hashtag, though?
Did we do a hashtag? We did. It was very specific. It was just my last name and celebration, secl celebration. So
that works.
Family only. Yeah.
I think
No
we might have had a
Venmo.
hashtag, but now it mattered so much, and now I can't even remember what it was.
Right.
I'll
Seemed
figure it
important
out.
at the time, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll figure it out by the end of this. Okay, glad we didn't offend you and that you did not have a honey fund or seek finances from people on Venmo anytime recently. Go ahead. Joe wants to say something. I can see it.
No, nothing. I'm good, Erin.
Okay. Brandon works as an estimator at O'Brien Brothers in Vermont. For someone who may not know what any of that means, give me kind of the short story on O'Brien Brothers and what an estimator means. What's your day-to-day like?
Sure. So O'Brien Brothers, we are a company that operates in two divisions. We're a real estate developer and a property management firm. We own various properties in the Burlington, South Burlington, Shelburne, Colchester area, and we also develop a few single-family housing developments. The larger of those projects is happening right now in South Burlington. We have a couple other developments in permitting process right now in nearby towns. But the project we're working on in South Burlington right now is about 155 single-family homes across 30 acres. We build 25 to 30 homes each year. They range from single-family houses from 2,000 square feet up to 5,000 square feet in size. And we also have about 45 different townhomes that we are building on site. Currently, we're about 60 homes into the 155 home build out. There's some extra space on site for future commercial usage. The development is built on family-owned land that the family has owned for near 100 years. It's an old, long Vermont family, tons of cousins and aunts and uncles in the area. And the cool thing about this neighborhood that we're developing in South Burlington, which we call Hillside East, is that we are 100% carbon-free and 80% renewable energy on site. We don't use any natural gas. We don't use any fossil fuels at all. We use air source heat pumps for all of our cooling and heating. We have tons of solar panels, on-site rooftop panels, and we have Tesla battery power walls in the basements of all of our homes so that we can store energy on site. It was built with a microgrid philosophy so that if there were a severe weather event and the area would typically lose power, this neighborhood can typically sustain itself for about 3 or 4 days without electricity from the grid, using the batteries on site and the renewables on site. A big part of our permit, our Act 250 permit, because we're a developer in South Burlington, is that all of our construction waste needs to be recycled properly, which essentially means nothing ends up in the landfill. But it's not so simple as that. Different things need to be collected, sorted, and recycled in different ways. Cardboard is collected separately, asphalt shingles, drywall, plastics, metals. Joe can probably speak to that a little bit better, but Myers handles all of that for us, which makes my job much easier. I can focus on things like budgets and schedule rather than where's this clean wood going to end up when it gets hauled away. So Myers is one of our better, bigger partners on site, and we've had a lot of success working with them so far.
Yeah, and it's a good segue because we work with so many contractors, and our goal is to take all that burden off of the contractors so they can kind of just, set it and forget it basically. And we're really proud to be working with O'Brien on all their projects, but this one in particular, because we are recycling upwards of 99% of all waste that's coming off that job site is being reused, which is great. Brandon, maybe talk a little bit more. I've toured your property a little bit. I'm always impressed by not just the layout, because there are a lot of other projects in Vermont that are going green and really limiting the use of the environment. But you guys, I feel like, have taken it to another level with limiting the amount of impervious surface for stormwater runoff. So, although the properties might be you have this land, but a lot of these projects end up having massive parking lots, and you really don't. So maybe talk a little bit about how it's not as simple as just blueprints of building a townhouse. It's everything that goes into the roads and the parking, driveways and stuff.
Oh, yep. Everything is pretty meticulously reviewed, especially with the review board in South Burlington. They don't let us get off with much. And that extends to larger parking areas are actually going to be pervious surfaces rather than impervious surfaces. And, all of the landscaping and stormwater has been meticulously engineered and designed. And there's tons of open space, and we're well within walking distance to well over 15 different diverse uses. But each individual home also is going to be certified through the Department of Energy Zero Energy Ready Home and through Energy Star certification. So across the board, we're really trying to address, an eco-friendly, responsible neighborhood build out.
Yeah. And, I feel like if there's a place, you live where people really, really value that, it is Vermont, right? Vermonters love green. They love recycling. They love, turning something that was one thing into other things. And I think they try to really extend that into every aspect of their life. And so now if they have the opportunity, they're moving and they can purchase or rent or live in an O'Brien, Brothers built building, you guys have kind of, done a lot of that stuff for them to help them feel really good and proud of where they're living.
Definitely. That's part of our marketing pitch as well.
Oh, look at that. Is that something that you guys have found, that people are really impressed by? And I feel like it's, and I don't know, and I know there's an affordability aspect and everything like that, but like often, right, doing things the right way and the best way isn't always the most inexpensive way. And so I'm sure for you guys, there's a balance between.
It's been a little bit of an obstacle. So we do seem to attract the clientele that, endorses that type of construction and wants to be responsible and wants to be green. The utility costs in a calendar year are a little bit higher with the air source heat pumps, the all electric systems, than they would be with the natural gas systems that we used to work with. But again, weeding out the fossil fuel, you end up with a carbon-free operational energy. So again, the clientele specific to what we're doing doesn't seem to mind the added cost in a calendar year because it's not too substantial. It's not like the utility bill doubles or anything. And we've been making some more energy improvements. We use these new smart electric panels called SPAN panels, which basically allows you to control your home's electric usage from an app on your phone or a smart device. And in a peak demand scenario, you would be able to reduce the rate of your electric car charger, or if you lost power and you were running on just battery usage, you would be able to toggle off different heating devices or your oven or your dryer or whatever you needed to do to reduce the energy demand on your home. But it also allows people to monitor their energy usage. And so anyone who's of the mind to use less energy, reduce their demand, be greener, they can monitor exactly how they're doing in that field.
It's like low power mode on your phone.
Exactly.
Well, so, and also, oh, sorry, Joe, I know what you're talking about. Event, just to piggyback, and then Joe has another question for you. But to me, it's like you think about, and I feel like one of the first places you notice this price difference with doing the right thing or doing the healthier thing. It's like when you go grocery shopping and it's like, I could buy the bananas, you could buy the organic bananas. And people, I think, kind of understand that there's a reason that the organic ones are more expensive because of everything that went into, and maybe not banana, apple, whatever, where it grew, the ground. And so it's a similar concept. And maybe, yes, your utility bill might be going up a little bit, but the impact you're making in other areas is kind of justifying or balancing that out.
100%. Completely agree.
Now, some of the views, some of the best views in Chittenden County are at the farm, up at your property. I mean, it's just second to none. you said you got about 60 properties sold. What are you seeing as far as the demographics of people who are moving in? Are they predominantly Vermonters? Are they out-of-staters? Are they younger, older? What are you seeing as people are coming in?
So our neighborhood was intentionally designed to appeal to all demographics. And so of the 155 homes, 8 of the units on site are actually low-income affordable homes, which are being certified through Efficiency Vermont's 2.0 low-income program, in addition to Energy Star and Department of Energy, like all the other homes. So those are our affordable homes. We also have, some standard size 2,000, 2,500 square foot single family and townhomes. And then we have some rather larger homes in the 5,000 square foot area that those are on the east side of Old Farm Road, looking at the Green Mountains, those killer views that you were referencing. And honestly, so far through the first 2 years of the project, we've almost struck a perfectly even balance between the 3 different models. We only recently started building homes on the east side of Old Farm Road. The first phase of this project was 45 homes on the immediate west side of Old Farm Road, which look out towards the Adirondacks, across Lake Champlain at the Adirondacks. And now we've started the homes on the east side of Old Farm Road, which look at the Green Mountain Range, clear shots of Camel's Hump and Mount Mansfield. And it's almost literally a perfect balance between single families, townhomes, and the larger luxury style homes that we're selling. From 2020, we piggybacked this project off a former project. So from 2020 on through last year, 40% of our buyers were from out of state at 25 homes a year. So whatever that math checks out to, yeah.
That's great.
That is great. Go ahead.
When we were building, of course, on the tail end of COVID there, we had a lot of designs calling for work from home spaces, home offices, homeschooling areas. That sort of need has gone away. I don't know that as many people are working remote or working from home as much, but it seems to be that the out-of-state buyers have the ability to work remotely, or are moving here for tech work in the area. So
I love that the new developments, like you're mentioning, like it's not like cookie cutter, a bunch of the same looking thing, right? Like I love that. And I live in a townhouse, right? And I live in an area in Williston where there's a lot of different developments. And the other day I was like driving through one of them and I was like, what? I love that. Like all of these houses are like different colors, right? And then there's townhomes, and then there's an apartment, and then there's homes. And I feel like it makes me feel less like I'm living in, remember like Sim City, that computer game when you're younger? Oh, yeah. Like it makes me feel less like I'm living in something like that and more like, right? Like growth is a thing. And I know a lot of people get upset because Vermont has so much open land and they want it to stay that way. But There are people moving to our state. And so, I think the fact that you guys build the way that Vermonters can appreciate is great. And then I was going somewhere and now I forgot where it was.
Well, I want to say, because I mentioned the review board in South Burlington and the permitting process in South Burlington. And as long and frustrating as that process can be sometimes, to their credit, one of their big requirements is that every house cannot look the same. It cannot look like a cookie cutter house. They meticulously review all of our architectural prints and they tell us, from your street facade, this looks too basic, or we need more architectural feature here. And then when we go to build the homes, they tell us you can't have 2 homes that look exactly the same next to each other or the same color 3 times in a row. And it's a big part of what they're driving as well, that they want the variety. They want to see a nice mixed town rather than, I live in a townhome too in Heinsberg, and it is, every single townhome is the same. All 24 units, exactly the same.
Well, and I'm sure for you guys, you have your plan, but you can't just be like, oh, here, we're just doing the same thing.
Right.
Step in repeat. You have to.
We can't. We're built on a big ledge site, and we actually crush stone on site, which saves a lot of carbon off gassing because we're not trucking in a bunch of crushed stone. We're crushing stone on site and keeping it here. But building on ledge is an obstacle in itself. So we can only fit certain size houses in certain areas based on the layout.
Perfect.
So I've been working with O'Brien Brothers for 20 plus years. I started working with Dan and Leo, the brothers of O'Brien brothers, and then the second generation cousins. You guys have always been on the cutting edge, and it shows with this project. Where do you see the future as far as, 10 years ago, you guys were planning out, kind of the carbon neutral, very green project. So Tesla Powerwalls, things like that. So, as you're moving into, you talk about your Shelburne project down the road, where do you see sort of the new trends, or where are things going and from
So
this
one
side?
big thing we've been discussing recently in terms of that increased utility bill from the air source heat pumps is trying out geothermal heating and cooling systems, which uses a similar technology as the heat pumps, but you're not using electric condensers. You're basically drilling pipe down in 40 feet into the earth and using the warmth and cooling of the soil beneath you to heat and cool your house. And the energy costs on that, operating costs to the occupant, are much less than they would be with an all-electric air source heat pump system. So that's something we've been discussing doing in Shelburne, something we may even try to do here in South Burlington. It's still in the works a bit. But another thing we've focused on is a big push in the green building world right now is embodied carbon. So not necessarily how much carbon your home is producing during operation, but how much gets front loaded into it during construction, from everything to driving big trucks to the job site to the extruded foam insulation you're using and what off gases when you mix those chemicals. And you can reduce your embodied carbon by using some alternative products. For example, there's something called Timber HP, which is a wood fiber insulation product that is made from sawdust and wood scraps already at the lumber yard, already part of the plant, just being reused and recycled for insulation, that basically have zero off-gassing or global warming potential compared to the extruded foam and foam board products and such. So different things like that.
I see electric garbage trucks or trash trucks in our future, Joe.
Oh no, you kid about that, but we really are going that direction where they want electric trash trucks and natural gas trucks and stuff like that. So I think in our lifetime we'll see it.
Perfect. So, and I was going to kick
Erin,
it.
you point out you're so much younger than I. So maybe in your lifetime.
In my lifetime. I was though going to kick it back over to you though, Joe, because we've talked about, Myers does take all of the waste away and avoid it going into the landfill. For someone who is not incredibly savvy in this world, why is it important that the landfills don't get full of things that can go elsewhere? And how much, right? I guess I don't know how you can even give us an idea of it, but how much trash are we talking about that is regularly getting taken away and has to find a place to go?
Yeah, so we can actually tell pretty close to it, because in order for O'Brien Brothers to get the certification they're looking for, we have to prove to both the state and the feds how much waste is being produced on the job site and how much of that waste is being recycled. And of recycled, what are we doing with it? So, the first part of your question, in Vermont, we only have one landfill, and it's in Coventry. So you take everything wonderful that O'Brien Brothers is doing in South Burlington. If we had to truck that waste all the way to Coventry, just think about the fossil fuels we're burning, the impact on our roads, on our bridges. So by keeping it here in Chittenden County and repurposing it into things like cart paths, from the shingles that are being done, and sheetrock that we turn into fertilizer, it just makes it so much more environmentally friendly and more sustainable. With only one landfill in Vermont, we're going to eventually be full. And once we're full, that means either we got to create a new landfill in Vermont, which probably will never happen, or we got to truck that waste out of state, which we really don't want to do either. O'Brien Brothers, they're producing upwards of 20 tons a month of waste that would normally have gone to the landfill that's now being turned back into new product, be it the wood, scrap woods being turned into press board for, furniture, and, leftover sheetrock is being turned into quickie dry, clean up oil spills and things of that sort. So, it's not, I think it's one of the things that the O'Briens have done so well, that it's easy to be green when it only impacts you, but the challenge is to do that full circle of environmental friendliness. And that's what they're doing at that project, by bringing the product in the right way, but more importantly, bringing the product out the right way.
I think it's really interesting. It's like it's a little out of sight, out of mind for the average person like me, who even just to learn, like, you know, I'm like, oh, cool, Myers is taking it away, and then I don't know, they're not putting it in the landfill, but they're doing what they're supposed to, and then but someone somewhere is taking it and then being like, oh no, this is going to be the cart path at the golf course, and oh, this is, you know, like, you know, there's all the different cogs in the wheel that make this all work. It's a group effort.
Exactly.
Brandon, before we let you go, is there anything we did not ask you about that you would like to add?
No, I think
Get your notes. I love it. I could tell you have notes, and I love it. So
I do.
scan your notes real quick.
We got everything. I don't have anything else.
Well, how about more importantly, if somebody's interested to buy one of these projects or want to look at it, how do people, you know, we're averaging about 7,000 downloads a week. So maybe one of those buyers, we sell a property off the podcast, Erin and I, you can take us to lunch or something.
And Joe will throw in a table and chairs.
I'll throw in a table.
Yeah, I heard about that table and chairs. You can check out our website, hillsidevermont.com. O'Brien Brothers, we've been in business for 60 years, family-owned company, still operating with the family intent. But Hillside is our current project. We'll be building this one out for the next 3 or 4 years, and then look for us in other Chittenden County towns.
Wonderful.
Love it. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us on the podcast, Brandon. And don't forget, for everyone watching, to like, share, and subscribe. But Brandon, you especially, we're going to go look for your name on it.
I will.
Oh, Joe, I felt a little bad. I was going to save it for this part where I thought it was really nice that he took the time to make notes of the things he wanted to make sure we talked about on the podcast. But I ended up, that's me, classic Erin. I just called him out. Hey, he handled it well.
Far more prepared than I am usually. So, you know, but that's far more prepared in life. I mean, maybe that's why, you know, I had my son before my 1-year anniversary.
Well, there still could be, before your 1-year anniversary. So, that means you just got right to work. Not before the wedding, before the anniversary.
No, we were married. Yes, we were married in October, and our son was born in August. But to my point that I don't plan very well, we didn't really plan it very well, you know, so, you know, why not?
Fair. Oh, I love it. Anything else you want to add here before we go? I already picked on you about the table and chairs, still available on Facebook Marketplace. If anyone is interested, I
appreciate that. I mean, you know, we different times, so we didn't have a chance to wish you a happy belated birthday, Erin, but happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
So another year around the sun, as they say.
That's right. Are you a lobster guy? I
am. I'm more of a couple of times a year person.
Got it. I didn't want to go out to dinner. I was like, I'm happy to just have lobster. My dad's a big, has the pot and the burner and does it like that. But my father-in-law, he is let's just call the grocery store. They'll steam it. They'll even crack it for us, guy, for the same price as that's a fun fact. Did you know that? They will same price, $7.99 over the weekend at one of the grocery stores, a pound for the lobster. They will steam it and crack it for you. So that's what I had. He even bought an extra one, so I got to have lobster into the week as well. It was perfect.
Huh. Well, very nice. Alex is a wonderful husband.
The father-in-law took care of all that.
Father,
but Alex is.
I'm throwing poor Alex under the bus, so you know.
He doesn't like the lobster, but the father-in-law does, so that's why it's our thing.
All right. Well, there you go.
All right. Well, that wraps up another week of the Trash Talking and Giving Back podcast. Thanks again to Brandon from O'Brien Brothers for joining us. Check out their homes. Super Vermonty. I love it. I love this podcast, Joe. I love chatting with you and learning new things every single week. And I look forward to future weeks. You can all do the same by liking and subscribing because life gets busy. So you'll just get an alert. Hey, Erin and Joe have got something new for you. And then you can listen.
Sounds wonderful.
All right. Have a great week, everyone.